I almost wasn't going to do this video. It's from Wolf Street. I mean, it's a worthy article, but I'm thinking, you know, again, it's just the whole Equifax thing. You know, their data's been breached. They waited 6 weeks to tell the rest of us while they were cashing out. The executives were cashing out so that because they knew their stock price was about to get destroyed. So that in 2 weeks or several weeks' time, took them to cash out at top dollar. Then they broke the news to the rest of us, you know, useless eaters, us consumers. And I thought, yeah, again, this isn't normally chasing forward news for the most part, but I did cover it. It is important, and I will continue to cover it as new stuff comes out because I feel any light that needs to be shown on these pricks needs to be done. Equifax sacks 2 executives and turns Devious to stop you from demanding a credit freeze. Why? They're terrified a mass credit freeze will crush their revenues, and it will. Because if you put a credit freeze on your account, they can't share anything with anybody. No one can look at it. I think I know what I'm going to do Monday morning. Shares of Equifax dropped another 4% today. Today being September 15th, according to this article. Or, including after hours, to $92.70. They're down now 35%, or $50, from the happier era that ended at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on September 7th, with the confession that it had found out 6 weeks earlier that the most crucial personal data, primarily names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and in some instances driver's license numbers, of 143 million consumers had been stolen. This was promptly followed by chaos and egregious missteps, such as trying to profit from its victims. So far, at 120.4 million shares outstanding as of June 30th, the 6 trading days have cost investors approximately $6 billion. No one cares about consumers. They're just the product. But $6 billion does, in fact, matter. Now heads are rolling. Oh no, not CEO Richard Smith. He is not leaving the company to spend more time with his family. Instead, Equifax announced Friday evening that it sacked 2 lower-level executives. I mean, not sacked. Chief Information Officer David Webb and Chief Security Officer Susan Malden are retiring, it said, effective immediately. And they had it coming. Much was made of Malden's degree, her degrees in music. You know, Chief Security Officer, what do you do? I've got some degrees in music. Music is the sound of life. Reaching out for all. Yeah. Music. What are your we need a real good security person. Make sure data is intact. What's your qualifications? I've got degrees in music. Information technology? What? Music technology, actually. Interesting. But for a person her age and with as much corporate experience as she had, college is irrelevant. Gates, Jobs, and Zuckerberg don't even graduate from college. What matters is how they perform their work. And they failed to patch a vulnerability in Apache Struts, an open source and therefore free software. The vulnerability had been identified in early March, but wasn't patched. The hack occurred from May 13th through July 30th. According to Equifax Friday evening, the attack vector used in this incident occurred through a vulnerability in Apache Struts, an open source application framework that supports the Equifax online dispute portal web application. Equifax's security organization was aware of this vulnerability at the time. Well, I'm sorry, what was that? Equifax's security organization was aware of this vulnerability at the time and took efforts to identify and to patch any vulnerable systems in the company's IT infrastructure. I guess you missed one or two. While Equifax fully understands the intense focus on patching efforts, the company's review of the facts is still ongoing. The flaw in the Apache Struts framework was fixed on March 6th. 3 days later, the bug was already under mass attack by hackers who were exploiting the flaw to install rogue applications on web servers. 5 days after that, the exploit showed few signs of letting up. Equifax has said the breach on its site occurred in mid-May, more than 2 months after the flow came to light and a patch was available. After this software fiasco, 2 other people were promoted into those slots, both from within Equifax's vaunted IT operations, now best known for not patching their Apache Struts software. The statement also said that the company is fully committed to proactively supporting consumers who may have been impacted by the cybersecurity incident. Yep, so a day or 2 ago, Equifax changed its page for initiating a security freeze to make it a lot harder for consumers to get a security freeze, aka credit freeze. Credit bureaus are required to offer a security freeze, but they're not required to make it easy. Credit bureaus send consumer data to other companies. When you try to open an account at a bank or credit card company, that company will check your credit worthiness via the data obtained from credit bureaus. If someone obtains your data that was stolen from Equifax, he can open an account in your name and borrow money in your name. And you get to fend off the creditors when they chase after their money. And your credit will be ruined too. Identity theft is a nightmare to resolve. The best prevention is putting a security freeze at all 3 major credit bureaus, which he puts a link, by the way, at Wolf Street, right here to do so. It'll take you right to where you need to go. Guess what I'm going to do Monday morning? Credit freeze, all 3. However, wait a minute. I'm closing in 2 or 3 days from then. Let's see, what's the Sunday? 20th is Wednesday. I may have to wait till after Wednesday so that I can say we signed on this house. You're not going to be doing a double, triple credit recheck on me, whatever. Solid, yes, a good deal. Good day, sir. Now I'll do it. So for Jason at 4, Monday he won't be doing it. More like Thursday or Friday. You guys, jump on it. And those 3 are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. A credit freeze makes this form of identity theft nearly impossible because banks and credit card companies that cannot verify the applicant's credit history will not open a new account. And since your stolen data will be out there forever, you need to protect yourself for the rest of your life. But to make it even harder to obtain a security freeze, Equifax put a huge distracting red button on the top center of the security freeze page. It takes you to a page full of other stuff where a security freeze is mentioned only at the bottom, and even then without a link for you to click on. This is what the Devious button looks like that you do not want to click. Let me take a little look at that for you. Equifax cybersecurity incident. No. Click here. Nope. No thanks. That's all right. I already know about the incident. Let me go down here to put a freeze on it. Instead, scroll past the Devious red button. Oh, by the way, here's another thing. Pro tip. If a bunch of people start freezing their credit, not just at Equifax, but the other 2 main credit companies, you think their stock prices are going to go down? They're not going to be able to sell the data like they used to. They're not going to be able to get, again, this is going to cost everybody money. They can't share it now anymore because you got a freeze on it. So is this a pro tip? Are we about to see those other 2 agencies go down stock-wise? However, having said that, we are a nation of sheep. And it was breaking news today. Yeah, that's old news now. I'm done. I don't care. Yeah, but your credit stuff's out there. Ah, that's fine. Which means hardly anyone's probably going to go there and put a credit freeze. Then again, I'd like to be wrong on that. And here's some kind of breaking news. Wow, millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans have done so. Good. More power to you. Instead, scroll past the Devious red button. Now the security freeze section appears that used to be at the top. And it provides the appropriate link. But most people will never see it because they were deceived by the Devious red button. Under withering pressure and allegations of profiteering from its victims' plight, Equifax announced that credit freezes will be free until November 21st, and that consumers who paid for it starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the 7th September will receive a refund. TransUnion has become even more devious in trying to prevent consumers from initiating a security freeze and denting its revenues. Its old credit freeze page that I'd linked to in my September 7th article, and that subsequently major media outlets and state attorneys general linked in their communications, was changed a couple of days ago. Now that page goes through all kinds of blah, blah, blah. You have to scroll all the way down to get to the very last paragraph to find the first mention of a credit freeze in the new link where you can initiate the credit freeze. But even on that credit freeze page, TransUnion is trying to talk you into a security lock instead. Experian has not yet changed its security freeze page. This deviousness is a sign these companies are terrified that a mass credit freeze will hit their revenues and shares, and this isn't a short-term blip. This is for life. Banks, credit card companies, and other Equifax customers squeal. Consumers, the product, squeal. Congress squeals. Investors squeal. Read The Crushing of Equifax by Wolf Street also, which they link to. You are a number. You are a thing. You are something to make money off of. You are profit. You are not a human. And we don't care if your credit life is ruined or credit's ruined for the rest of your life. Maybe I should have said it that way. And you have to fight forever because your information keeps getting stolen. You see, we only have one social security number. We don't get it changed. You can't ask for a new one. It's the same. They've got your name. They've got your address. They've got everything they need to know about you. Believe me, they can find out everything else about your past life. Who your family is, everything else. So my question is, okay, if I put a credit freeze in place, what's to stop somebody who has every single piece of information about me or you from undoing it? Hey, take the freeze off. Hey, that's me, Jason Snip4. Take the freeze off. Yeah, I know I put it on a week ago, but take it off now. Now, I know some of these will probably have you put your cell phone where you can get a text or something, which is a good move. But again, are we now going to fight? Is this going to be a fight for us for the rest of our life? Constantly fighting? I mean, the whole credit system would... No wonder why it's a multi-billion dollar industry, credit fraud. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Take care.